Michael, a lot of draft analysts don't seem to be high on the 2022 quarterback class. That is not the case for our next guest, Thor Nystrom from NBC Sports Edge, senior content creator, college football and NFL draft. He's not only high on Malik Willis out of Liberty, he is calling him generational in terms of his upside and his talent. Listen to this, Michael. Willis isn't as risky as some have depicted due to his ridiculous rushing ability in the NFL. It reminds me of Lamar Jackson's process, but Willis's combination of arm strength and athleticism evoke a different player. That player happened to be starring in the Georgia Dome when Willis was a kid, living blocks away, dreaming of playing for the Falcons. Michael Vick. Willis's upside is generational. This is Thor Nystrom from NBC Sports Edge. His downside is a top 5 scrambler of all time with top 5 NFL arm strength and accuracy issues. With a modified Ravens-esque system that suits him with more downfield throwing, that's still a minimum, a top 16 NFL starter, isn't it? If Jalen Hurts made it, Thor writes, how does Malik Willis miss? In my opinion, Willis should be Detroit's pick at number 2 overall. It's a risk, sure. Passing on a quarterback with tools this shiny is the bigger one. His comparison, a right-handed Michael Vick. Now, if that ain't bringing the thunder, Thor, I don't know what is when it comes to a scouting report on Malik Willis out of Liberty. But before you get into your crush on Malik Willis, you will listen to our previous conversation with Charles Robinson, and you want to share a story about the late, great Therese Paler. Go right ahead.
Yeah, when I was 15 years old, I discovered on the internet a simulated college football league where you could recruit players, and it started in the 1990s. You recruited real players. So I was UNC, and so you could recruit like Ron Dane. You would use points and stuff like that. And it turned out the commissioner was a guy I'd never heard of, a guy named Therese Paler. Years later, he started working. I found he was working for the Kansas City Star, and then he worked up and worked up and worked up. And then he made something of himself. And then he became my friend in the industry. And we would email each other and stuff like that. And he became a huge deal. Just a really cool thing. But we played this thing for years. You know, before he was ever anything, he was my buddy playing this simulated league that he put together, which is like the coolest league I ever played in.
That's sweet. That's good stuff right there, man. Rest in peace, Therese. But Malik Willis, I mean, do you think Detroit should go Malik Willis at 2? We've heard some rumblings about that, but nothing, at the forefront. Why would Detroit be making a major mistake passing on Malik Willis, besides what I've already read from your evaluation?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's the direction that they're going to go, but I absolutely think that they should. As I put in there, I don't see what the downside is for them. You've been a dumpster fire franchise for the last 30 years. You don't have a quarterback, and you're going to pass on a guy that has tools that are analogous to only one guy in the history of the NFL. Show me another guy that can push the ball 70 yards downfield, no problem, who has comparable athleticism to Malik Willis. Malik Willis ran a 4.37 at Auburn as a sophomore, and he has the same build as Michael Vick. And in the last decade in college football, only Lamar Jackson has put up the rushing utility that he has. I don't know why you would pass on him.
Well, what about the small school thing? You mentioned Auburn as a sophomore, but being at Liberty, not going against top competition consistently, and when he has gone against top competition, he's turned the ball over quite a bit. Would you look at that as a downside to Malik Willis?
I see it a different way. I saw him going to Blacksburg as a 17.5-point underdog with zero NFL talent around him and single-handedly beat the Hokies. The best play that I saw in film of any of the quarterbacks in this class was a 4th and 3 when Liberty was at midfield. Virginia Tech had a free rusher coming off the edge. He hit Malik Willis. Malik Willis just pirouetted off of him, rolled out to the right, hit a guy, throwing the ball, off platform, all the way down the field, hits the guy right on the sideline. catches the ball. They're at the 2-yard line. 2 plays later, they score a touchdown. They end up winning the game by a field goal. Again, a 17.5-point underdogs. They also beat Syracuse. They were the only team that beat Coastal Carolina that year. No NFL talent around him. He played behind a joke of an offensive line, didn't play with any running backs, played with no receivers that could get any separation. People talk about like the UL Monroe tape, for instance. And if you watch like just the highlights of that game, you'll be wondering like, why does Malik Willis keep rolling out to the right, or stuff like that? Or like, why does he throw so quickly? But then, I watched the All 22, like right after the season, and you start to see why, because he's getting heat in his face, like right away, like literally right away. So then, he's got to roll out. And then you start to watch more of his All 22. Even when teams were doing like 3-man pressure, he was getting pressure at his face. 3-man rushes, he was getting pressure in his face right away. UL Monroe was doing stuff where they were like doing the thing that the Patriots would do, where they would have like 5 guys standing up right before the snap, and then they'd sort of fan out, and the Liberty offensive line is like, who do we block? And all of them were just coming free. Just a joke of a supporting cast around him. Malik Willis was the entire offense. People talk about the lack of accuracy, and I will concede that on the easy throws, the in structure stuff, the stuff over the middle, the intermediate stuff, that stuff he is on the below average for this class for sure, and that's the stuff that he'll have to work on in the NFL. In the NFL, he will have protection, he'll have receivers that will get separation in his defense. The throws though, the NFL throws, 10 to 19 yards outside the hashes towards the sidelines, he is the most accurate quarterback in this class by far. No one ever talks about that. His on-target percentage on those throws, by far the highest in this class. He threw over 20% of his throws last year, 20 yards or more downfield, and he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in this class on those throws too. People don't talk about that either. He also has the strongest arm in this class. As far as throws that actually translate to the NFL, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in this class already. And the stuff, the other stuff, it should play up when he has the supporting cast around him to give him protection, and then working on his, the rest of the stuff as far as his mechanics and stuff like that.
Thor, you know what I don't get, my favorite aspect of your evaluation of Willis is this isn't just relative to this year's class. You've already compared him to a right-handed version of Michael Vick. You ranked him in the last 2 quarterback classes, and last year's was so rich, second behind only Trevor Lawrence. Like, your rankings over the last 2 classes go Lawrence, Willis, Fields, Lance, and Wilson and Matt Corral are tied for 5th.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks don't need any help with hype. You seem to be in the minority though. Why are so many people missing it with Malik Willis? Because it would be one thing if you were like, oh, he's better than people are giving him credit for. You're telling us he's generational, and Detroit would be making a mistake taking him at 2nd overall when you got people out here putting out mock drafts that's like, he may not go in the 1st round, or it would be a reach, or it'd be a force to take him. Why are people missing it with this kid?
I don't know. I don't get it. Put him up, for instance, just put him apples to apples against Trey Lance. And I love Trey Lance. I'm coming to you guys from Minneapolis right now. Trey Lance grew up in Marshall, Minnesota, pretty close to me. He played at NDSU, pretty close to me. I watched a lot of Trey Lance. Christian Watson is receivers, one of my favorite receivers in this class. I rank him wide receiver 5. Trey Lance only played, he only started like 13 games in the FCS. He had a 2nd-round player as his left tackle. He had maybe a 1st-round receiver as his wide receiver 1 there, playing FCS opponents every single time. People want to talk about Malik Willis and his opponents, stuff like that. He was playing better opponents than he had supporting cast around him. Trey Lance, that wasn't the case. NDSU was way better than the opponents that they were playing the whole time. And he didn't, Trey Lance had very little experience, right? Historically little experience for the draft slot that he went in. So, and then as far as the physical tools, Malik Willis has more athleticism than Trey Lance. He has a bigger arm than Trey Lance. So, just apples to apples in terms of the evaluation, I'm not really sure, exactly why you'd put Trey Lance over him. I don't know.
There's Thor, when you talked about Malik not playing with, big-time professionals, big-time future pros at Liberty, There's a Detroit Lions joke in there, too, if he gets drafted by the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to make it, though. I'm not going to make it. I'll just say this. If the Lions don't take him, what's the best fit for Malik Willis? Just in terms of what you see, scheme fit, coaching staff, where would he really thrive?
Well, in terms of culture, in terms of for him, Malik Willis would probably answer Atlanta Falcons, for the reasons that I stated in the write-up, just because that's where he grew up. That's probably where he would be the most comfortable, right? Again, he grew up an Atlanta Falcons fan. As far as the fit on the field, might be the Seahawks. Pete Carroll is known for sort of building the system around the quarterback. Drew Lock sucks. They don't have anything there. I think Malik Willis would be able to get on the field pretty quickly there. And again, a guy with that staff there, they would build it around Malik Willis. So I think Seattle would be a pretty good fit for him. The other one, although I think this team is going to have to trade up, despite where the smoke is right now, I don't think Malik Willis has fallen out of the first round. I don't think he's fallen to 20. I know that the Pittsburgh Steelers love him. Mike Tomlin has been salivating over Malik Willis all process. He has made absolutely no secret about this. I think it would be a tremendous fit, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Malik Willis.
Hey, man, I'm sold. I am sold. I think Thor is telling us that Malik Willis could be lightning in a bottle for some team. Couldn't resist. Thor Nystrom, we appreciate you, man. NBC Sports Edge, keep up the great work. We look forward to talking to you down the road after the draft when everybody's saying what you already saying about Malik Willis. They're going to say it after the fact. They're trying to keep it on the low is what's happening. That's probably what it is. We'll hear a lot more of this after the draft, I'm sure. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.